So welcome back, folks. Today I'm going to be installing an auxiliary battery on my truck so I can have power in the back. I want to have this outlet installed somewhere over here so I can power up a fridge and a couple of lights like these two. So I'm going to be installing this power outlet, 12 volts and 2 USBs. In the first place I was thinking putting it something like this, but I was thinking that the 12 volt plug will be sticking out and it will be very easy to hit it and break it. So I'm going to build a bracket to have the whole plug just cover underneath. So this is the material that I'm going to be using in this build. The battery, isolator, fuses, cable, switches, 12 volt and USB outlets, and a couple of lights. So the auxiliary battery is going to be connected to the main battery through an isolator. This is called a smart isolator. So this is what comes on the kit of the isolator. It should be fairly simple installation. I'm just afraid of where to bolt these on the engine or in the engine compartment, mostly on the firewall. So I'm gonna mount the isolator over here. So underneath the silicone it can be read, well, I know very well, but it says start battery, and this one is the second battery. So the one with the red dot is the one going to the main battery. So I cut a small notch for this cable that it goes to the chassis to pass through like this, and then I cut also this notch so I can have this terminal sitting like this. So I just remove this cover that comes on top of the battery, and I see that I have one spare connection right there, and this is where I'm going to connect the cable going to the isolator. I'm going to measure again, measure twice, cut once, all the way to this spot. So I think I'm going to be pretty safe. Thermal retractile. This is a 10-ton crimping tool. I really don't know how much I need to push it, but I mean, I'm gonna just keep going until it gets really hard. So it came out really nice. I'm gonna put the thermal retractile using MAP gas. This is not the best way to do it, but it's what I have. Sweet. So at the same time, what I'm going to do is wrap this cable through, how do you call this, protective wire wrap, just to make sure that it gets protected and it looks a little bit more OEM. So I'm going to cut right here. Nice. So this is a 13 millimeters. So the cable is connected already in the positive in the primary battery. Run all the way in front of the firewall. This is the solenoid, and the cable comes all the way to the auxiliary battery. So I made a hole in that part of the chassis to connect the negative of the auxiliary battery. As you can see, the cable is a little bit longer, and the way why I left this cable longer is because in some batteries the negative terminal is in this side. So I want to make sure that I can reach out in case I get a different battery. I already installed the fuse box and the negative terminal. This is where I'm going to hook up all the cables all the way to the back of the truck. I'm going to build the bracket for the connectors out of 2 pieces of flat bar that I'm gonna weld at this angle, and then it will go in the bed of the track at this, like that. So I'm gonna be drilling, cutting, welding, and grinding next. The bracket has came out really nice. Now I'm going to put it all together. Right, so now I'm going to install the bracket just to see how it looks. Looking good so far. For the cabling, I'm going to be using 14 gauge cables. I'm going to be running 3 pairs of cable. This one is going to be for the light, this one is going to be for the power outlet, and this one is going to be an spare one, just in case in the future I want to add another light or something else. So for the cabling, I'm going to need 25 feet. So I measure in my driveway how much that is. We're going to need 25 feet of cable sheath, which I believe that this is plenty. And I know that there is a plastic tool to put the cable inside the plastic sheath. It makes it a lot easier. I just forgot to buy it. Bottom line, get the tool. ¿Qué hacer? Tú lo sabes cuando uno tiene sed. There we go. Pretty nice. So I already ran the cable all the way to the back of the truck, and now I need to bring it up through this hole. So what I'm going to do is use a lead, basically something like this. I'm going to use thick piece of wire, and I'm just gonna run it all the way to the bottom, and then I'm gonna use it just to pull up the harness. Now we have plenty cable left. Solder. Doing this type of work is when you realize you need to have like a third hand or a few more fingers. Not super pretty, but it will hold. I bought this welder when I was doing my final project in Infinite Technologies, where I was using it mostly to weld SMD components. And since then, I've been using it a lot. Beautiful. Pretty nice. So now I should have power on the bracket, not on the button for the light, which is going to go through this cable. I finished the cabling in the battery side. I haven't used a fuse on the green line because the green one is the spare one. Alright, now the moment of the truth. Boom. Still need to wire this light, install another one in this side. Hell yeah. I'm going to weld the harness for the floodlights, and then the installation will be pretty much done. So usually the thermoretractile doesn't wrap 100% tight around the cable, so water can get inside the cable and the weld. So I'm using this special rubber, I don't know what it is or how is it called, but it's like self-vulcanizing rubber that you can wrap around the cable and it becomes like a rubber sheath. Alright, let's see if it works. There we go.